Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I want to remind everybody that PolySign is on the Link2 platform. They're selling, they have private equity, and they've got two important initiatives that are coming up. The first one is to make available institutional custody product to individual accredited investors, and the second one is they're beginning the beta testing of the proprietary. Having a tough time getting things out this morning. Proprietary atomic net blockchain with various participating institutions, including Link2. So this is PolySign has been activated, is what it sounds like to me. So the link to that is in the top of the description if you want to get some of that PolySign private equity. Now John Deaton was on with Tony from Thinking Crypto. Listen to this clip.
Let's talk about the Ripple lawsuit. Everybody's in high anticipation of Judge Torres's ruling. It could happen today, could happen next week. What are your thoughts? Do you think we hear something very soon?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Mark Fagel, who was on my Crypto Law show with Jeremy Hogan, former SEC, regional chief, a guy who knows the SEC in and out. He said two interesting things. One, he said he thought the SEC should win, but he thinks that the SEC may lose. I found that interesting. And he also said he expects the decision any day now. Now, I expected the decision before today. I said that I wouldn't be shocked if it took, through the summer, but I would be surprised if we were in June and it was still pending. And we're in June and it's still pending. So I'm also in the camp that we could get a decision today. We could get a decision next week. I've told XRP holders, I'm really, really confident that the worst case scenario is September. And I say worst case because some people think it's going to be, next year, right? Yeah. There's some people, well, if September 30th comes and she hasn't decided, she has to report herself to Congress and say, I have been waiting to rule on this massively important decision for 9 months and I still haven't done it. It's like think about that list as like a public shaming list, right? And a judge doesn't want to go on that list because it looks like he or she's not doing their job and they're not, being diligent. So I'm very confident that Judge Torres would never allow herself to go on that list.
Okay. Now, I noticed that Twitter keeps unfollowing me from people that I follow. So I followed John Deaton. I've had to refollow him several times. I just had to do it with Thinking Crypto. All right, this is crazy right here. Just when you think ETHGATE can't get any worse, Mr. Huber says, are you effing kidding me? Look at this. This one's going to blow your mind, folks. In fact, that's a thumbnail. Blow your mind. Because this one blew my mind. I think it blew his mind too. How everything started. This is a company called Plug and Play. The story of Plug and Play FinTech started with a small Bitcoin meetup at our headquarters in Sunnyvale, California. This meetup turned into our FinTech program launch. So this is their meetup where they started this company, Plug and Play. And look who's there, Vitalik Buterin. And then we've got Gavin Wood, who's also one of the Ethereum founders. All right. And guess who is one of the senior director enterprise tech at Plug and Play Tech Center, Nate Hinman, and that would be Nate Hinman, Bill Hinman's son. There's Bill Hinman, there's Nate Hinman. Folks, I make a habit never to bring people's family into this, but Nate Hinman has now entered the arena because he's in business. I don't ever do people's families, unless they're like getting in the family business, and this guy has entered the arena officially. So then Cowboy Crypto, Plug and Play, where Bill Hinman's son was director of enterprise tech, is invested in Evertus, which was funded by HashKey. Now HashKey is one of the investors in Promethium. Okay? And Wang Zhang, the Chinese blockchain company, is, I think, the major owner of HashKey. I think I got all that right. So look at this. Evertus raises $14 million, which HashKey participated in. Evertus president and founder is X-Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Right there. All right. So then we have this. Hey, John Deaton, when Bill Hinman's son joined Plug and Play Tech in 2017, he focused on fintech after his own statement in his role as a venture associate, not just any industry, fintech. Originally joined ventures teams, so I was originally a ventures associate for fintech and cyber security. All right. Then Brian Costello, who's been all over the China ties in all the different things going on in our government right now, he says, wow, it appears Hinman had multiple reasons for pursuing regulatory clarity for Ether. Not only could he enable his law firm, who was still compensating him to reap substantial profits from Chinese Ether infrastructure IPOs in the U.S. markets, but also had an opportunity to aid his son. And here's his son, just if you want to see, he's got the same voice, same mannerisms.
In here, obviously AI is built with human inputs, and as human beings, we have natural biases. How do you prevent?
Okay, I went through that video. There's nothing too much of substance. Now, Stuart Alderati has weighed in again. The law requires SEC employees, like all federal employees, to act and appear to act impartially. The law asks, would a reasonable person knowing the facts question the employee's impartiality? And he says, you know the facts. Yes, we do. Here's some more facts. This is from December 1st of 2020. This is Aaron Kaplan, co-CEO of Promethium. This clip right here proves that he has not just been meeting with Gary Gensler and his SEC, he was also doing so with the Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman SEC.
Yes, to bring this around, we've been working with both the SEC and FINRA for a long time. We meet with them often and are in contact with the different issues. I think what's important is our thesis is that the existing federal securities laws provide the basis for almost everything we need to do. In terms of beyond minor changes, can a blockchain be used as a means of electronic storage media? These type of sort of clarification issues, which will probably be dealt with in a no action letter capacity. I think that we're chugging along and we're making progress, and hopefully we'll have clarification in the coming quarter or two. Beyond that, I could say that I think that the regulators, both at the SEC and FINRA, understand the space now, understand the...
Man, he talks just like Joseph Lubin, doesn't he? The only thing he hasn't said is our friends over at the SEC.
The efficiencies introduced by the space, and are now working with the companies involved to basically introduce those efficiencies in a responsible manner, such that there's not any sort of risk to the market infrastructure or the market structure in general.
No, it definitely makes sense. I guess last question here. I was just curious because I heard about your Ember token, MBR, and you've been saying.
I wonder if he has a token factory just like Joseph Lubin.
As a fuel for Promethium blockchain network. Could you talk a little bit about that, like the Ember token, and how's it relationship to your company Promethium?
Sure. So Promethium's Ember token basically serves as almost what I would say is the equivalent of a network equity token. It serves as the fuel for our ecosystem and how data is written to our blockchain and how services are contributed either at the protocol layer or the business application layer to our blockchain. And basically, we filed a Reg A Plus. I believe we were the first company to file a public Reg A Plus back in November 2017. And we continue to work with the SEC and hopefully get approved shortly.
continuing to work with old Jay Clayton. Now, this guy has made it very, very, very clear in front of Congress and otherwise that pretty much all digital assets are securities, maybe except for Bitcoin. He even agrees that Ethereum was started as a security. But here's where he draws the line, go figure. He draws the line at the SEC suing Ethereum. You can't do that. He's totally on board with the SEC suing XRP and hurting XRP holders. He loves that. But you can't do it to Ethereum because Ethereum's too important part of the infrastructure. But what he doesn't say is the only reason Ethereum's any part of anything is because of the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass speech. So here he's telling you, well, they don't need to go after Ethereum. They need to leave that alone.
The only thing that might make things difficult in that capacity is you would have a potential issue if Ethereum itself would declare a security. But as long as Ethereum itself were declared a security, I think everything would just, it would work its way out. You know?
Now, I want to make sure I clarify something. I don't want the SEC to go after Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, or any of them. I wanted there to be a level playing field. That's the whole reason we're so pissed off. All we ever wanted was a level playing field. These people are the ones, Bill Hinman, these are the people who created this mess, okay? And now they're backed into a corner and they're trying to rationalize it by saying, well, maybe Ethereum needs to have some other designation or whatever. No, what should have happened is there should have been a level playing field from the beginning, and then you wouldn't have this mess. They created this mess, trying to rig this game in their own favor. And that's the fact, Jack. They created the problem. It's their problem. So if Ethereum ends up in the crosshairs, it's because of what they did. It's not because of what any of us did. All we ever wanted was a level playing field.
Over 3 to 6 months.
I think the case that it did.
If they made Ethereum a security, like it's just a question of the enforcement that they would do. If they just said, okay, Ethereum, we can just say, we think your security over the next 2 years, you have to do whatever's necessary to be compliant with securities laws, maybe that works out differently. But if they said all of a sudden, you know, if they were trying to really castrate Ethereum, that would be a problem because Ethereum, in my mind, is the spine for the whole industry. Everything else, if you're looking at it from an anatomy perspective, are sort of ribs that come out off Ethereum. But I don't think they're trying to do that. I don't think the United States is trying to do what China did when it came to the miners and the OTC
China, there's that word again.
Recently, I think the United States wants to support this, and I think that it's in our best interest in America to actually allow the United States to become a place where there's clear regulations that allow distributed architecture, distributed ledger technologies, and the like to flourish. I'm not trying to trade these things in and out. I'm a believer in Ethereum. I'm a believer in smart contract-enabled blockchain networks, and I'm a believer in that universe. I think that from a larger, 10,000-foot view, what Bitcoin is supposed to do is serve a different purpose. And I would encourage everyone who wants to get into this space and wants to learn more to read the Ethereum Homestead document and really use that as almost your Bible that you can then extrapolate from there.
An Ethereum Bible.
Learn about the industry and see where all the projects have come from there and sort of get a roadmap of how things occur, sort of put the jigsaw puzzle together.
Ethereum Bible, you got to be freaking kidding me. I mean, you couldn't make any of this stuff up. You couldn't make this up if you tried. And let me give you another one. This guy was in the freaking room at the Ethereum ICO, but don't take my word for it.
We were in the room like when they were, obviously we weren't part of the project, but when you could have bought ETH in the ICO for 19 cents a pop. At the time, I thought it was a security. Like, who's right? I don't think it matters in that sense. Those guys did really well. They built awesome projects and awesome product, etc. But at the same time, like, it's validating there, but also you missed opportunities because you believed in regulation from the first place.
He's in the room. Go figure. Now, don't forget China. Words from the chairman, from Vitalik to DevCon, how Shanghai came to to the fold of the Ethereum story. This entire write-up is about how close Ethereum is. China invested in these guys in, I think, 2015 or 16. Hashkey is owned more or less, my understanding is they're owned more or less by this Wang Chang block. Let me see what it's called. The Wang Chang whatever, who is also the major investor in Promethium. Okay? So then we've got this little reminder. Remember this from Chris Larson. Mark Phillips reminds us. Check this out.
China now has moved very strongly into building out a central bank digital currency, a renminbi, as well as controlling mining and basically having almost all their payments digital domestically. You know, frankly, and we can talk about it as well, we're way behind China when it comes to blockchain technology. So, you know, the companies need to just stay at it, you know, blocking and.
All right, so Chris Larson was trying to warn everybody. I think I'm going to cut the video off here. I'll get to this other stuff in the next video. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. China. Thanks for listening.